Welcome back to Tithes, Stress, and Term Life. Today's guest is someone I've been watching for a while, someone who's not just building a business, but a legacy. Ara Amen is a Kurdish-American entrepreneur, engineer, MBA graduate, and insurance pro who's flipping the script on what financial freedom really looks like. As someone just starting out as a newly licensed agent, I want to sit down with Ara, not just to hear the highlights, but to get the entire playbook. So Ara, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. That's a great intro. I appreciate that.
So Ara, how do you feel your Kurdish-American identity shaped your mindset and drive?
Oh, that's a great question. So I was born in Kurdistan, which is in northern Iraq. And so Kurdistan is the largest group of people without a country. So Kurdistan resides in northern Iraq, southern Turkey, Syria, and Iran. And if you try to find Kurdistan on the map, there's no country called Kurdistan. Mm. So growing up, I've always been an underdog because of that. Like I technically don't have a home on the map. So whenever we moved to the United States when I was 2 years old, growing up in the U.S. since then, I've really, America's become my home. And so being Kurdish, I always have that chip on my shoulder. I always know that, hey, my people don't really have a place. And even back home, they're trying to commit genocide on us. So I have
Heard about that.
100%, and they're still doing it to this day. So we actually have a saying though, because it's called "No friends but the mountains." So anyone that comes in our territory, we obliterate them because that's our home, that's our territory, that's our mountains. We have guerrilla warfare. Even though you have all these advanced weapons, whenever you step in our territory, we take care of our own. But so I just have that mindset. No one's really gonna come save you. You got to go do it yourself. And what I love about America, it's that same spirit. So how has being Kurdish helped me kind of get where I am? It still helps me. It drives me every day.
So what do you think your younger self would say if he could see where you are today?
He would say go harder. Because my younger self really thought that I always knew I was going to be a successful engineer in the corporate world. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but nothing worth it is easy. And I always knew that I don't know what it was. I always knew I was going to get to the top of the corporate ladder and that it was going to be bullshit. I don't know why, but I always knew that. And I knew I was going to have an opportunity to exit and throw it all away for something bigger. And now I'm on the precipice of that using financial services and starting my own brokerage and starting my own podcast and, having that blueprint. So he would tell me right now to double down and go harder.
That's a great mindset to have. What made you transition from that engineering background into the financial services industry, especially since you already got your MBA for it too?
Yeah, so it's funny, right? So when I became an engineer, I started making a little bit of money. And even though I was making money, I was just putting it in a bank. And it's not like it was growing or, there was no investments there. It was just money sitting in a bank. And I didn't have millionaires or mentors or, wealthy people around me guiding me on what to do with my money. And so I wanted to learn about, investments, business, finance, things like that. And I decided to go back to school because I was like, that's the only thing I really know. So I went back to school. I got my MBA in business and finance. And I thought that was what was really going to teach me about business and finance. After 2 years and spending about $30,000 on a degree in business and finance, I realized all they taught me was how to make money for somebody else's dream. And, there's nothing wrong with that if you want to just maximize shareholder value for somebody else, but that's all they teach you. Like in the books, it literally says maximize shareholder value over and over and over and over again. And that's that, it's that, I guess, persistent marketing that they imprint in your brain that's what you're supposed to be. That's what you're designed for.
All the way from elementary school, sitting behind a desk at a 9 to 5.
Yep.
At school, all the way up through college. That's all they train you for. They don't train you to be a business owner, to be successful on your own. They train you to be successful for someone else.
Exactly. And it's honestly a slave mindset. But so after I got that degree, and I realized this degree did not correlate to more money or a promotion, I still went and got more degrees. I went and got like 4 or 5 more certifications, more degrees, more auditing certs, green belt, black belt, yellow belt, and in the engineering world, I got all those. And after like the 5th one, I was like, this is just insanity. Why would I go pursue higher learning and higher education if it's not going to correlate to more money? And so I realized, okay, at that point I was like, I got to try something new. Let me go learn about money from people that are actually making money.
And so you said your MBA and all those fancy certifications and all that didn't really help you earn more income. So what do you think is broken in the traditional education to career system? And we already touched on it a little bit, but I just want to hear some deeper thoughts on that.
I think there's a lot broken. They sell you on getting this degree will change your life, number one. And number two, they also sell you that you could be whatever you want to be in this life, which you can, but you need to make money. Like nobody grows up saying, I want to be in insurance, but it's the most lucrative industry in the world.
Exactly.
So if you get good at making money in a specific industry, you can then go be whatever you want. But they sell you on you can be whatever you want and not to make money. So they put you in the hole, and then now you're trapped in a hole. So I think that's backwards.
What's like one thing that you think people just totally get wrong about like wealth building?
That they put their money in the bank and they put their money in a 401k. Because that was what I was doing.
Why do you think that's something that people get wrong?
Because that's all they know. Like I had no idea that there was other homes where you could put your money. All I knew was put my money in a bank.
What are those other homes?
So there's usually 4 or 5 homes of money you can put your money in. So number one is the bank, right? That's where all of us really know where to put our money. Number two is the market. So the stock market. So that's IRAs, like crypto, things like that. I would put another home. So you have your market, which is IRAs, crypto, stocks, and then I would say qualified plans. So another home is like 401ks or IRAs through your job. And then I would also say real estate. A lot of people are really big in parking their money in real estate. And then the fourth one or the fifth one would be life insurance.
That's a really weird thing to say. That's as like a pillar of building wealth. Why do you feel that way?
Life insurance is insurance for your money. And I never understood that. I always thought that life insurance was something that you get so that when you die, your family gets money. But it's evolved. Just like your phone has evolved. At one point, we had flip phones and pagers. Now we have phones that we can FaceTime and get live updates and things like that. So
from all the way across the world that would take days to reach before.
I can FaceTime my cousins in Kurdistan.
I know.
I can literally FaceTime my cousins in real time in Kurdistan. So if your phone and technology can be improved, so can financial products. So life insurance is a account, it's a vehicle where you can grow money tax advantage and you can access money tax advantage.
Regarding financial freedom, so how do you personally define financial freedom, and has that definition of yours of financial freedom changed over time as you've gotten more experience in the financial services industry?
Yeah, so financial freedom used to mean that I could just not work. But financial freedom to me means now I can go purchase it's not even about buying anything you want. It's about buying your time back. Because yeah, it's cool if you can go into any restaurant, order whatever you want, or go into any store, buy whatever you want. But what's really cool is saying, hey, let me pay for an Airbnb in like Aspen, and all my family and friends can come and they don't have to pay for anything. That's financial freedom, because not only are you purchasing that Airbnb or whatever, but you're purchasing all those people's time. And It's cool to have my time, but it's even cooler to have the people's I care about time. Like right now, I believe that my mom and dad, they're still working, so somebody is owning my parents' time. Whenever I have
there's not an even trade between time and money. You're selling your time for money.
Exactly. Or like whenever I get married and I have a wife, I don't want her to have a boss or a job to somebody else, because then somebody else owns her time. Yeah. I want the people I love and care about, I want them to have their freedom of time. So that's my perception of financial freedom now.
And so I know you're pretty big and pretty active with social media as well. What's like your mission when it comes to social media to help people become more financially literate and to educate people?
Believe it or not, I'm not as big in social media as some other people, but I just keep it simple. I just want to connect with people, whether it be maintaining a relationship, staying up to date with what I do and what they do, and then you never know who you stay in touch with, what opportunities will come. Right? It doesn't have to be we don't have to do business together, but they can let me know of an event. Like I have friends whenever I've been to like Mexico or Tulum or something, and I'm still friends with them on Instagram. And if I ever go to Tulum again, I'll probably be able to catch up with them. Or if I ever go, some of the people that I met in Tulum, they're from Europe. So if I ever go to Europe,
yeah.
I have friends that I just been keeping up to date with. So that's what I like, is just staying connected.
Yeah.
And business will naturally come from it, but I like the idea of being connected.
And so what would you say is like the most meaningful opportunity or like connection that you've found from showing up online?
Oh, that's easy. So I went to high school with a guy named Tyler Kleekamp. And one day I see Tyler smoking cigars with Matt Sapala. And I can literally message him, bro, you're hanging out with Matt Sapala? He goes, yeah, come meet him. And I went and met him. My life changed forever.
That's crazy.
Super simple, a simple DM.
That is absolutely insane. That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
Simple, but still insanely impactful.
Yeah, think about how many people you're friends with on social media that you haven't reached out to, that you could just send a simple DM, and who knows what comes of it. Like, it could be business, millions of dollars in business, generational wealth. You can introduce someone to like their wife or their husband, or a relationship that, changes everything. People joke about it, right? But sliding in the DMs is not an easy way, but it's a way to get to date.
Yeah.
And I know that at this the event last week, one of the speakers on stage met his wife because they were friends on social media, and he reached out to her via DM. So it's 100% possible.
Yeah. Tell me more about relationships and why you feel that's so important, not just in this industry and not just in your personal life, but like worldwide.
Oh, relationships are everything. The only reason I'm in this business is because of my relationship with Tyler. I always, I've known him for a while. I always trusted him. He was a great friend of mine. And, when you do something new, right? For example, I didn't know anybody in this industry. I didn't know anybody that was going to support me if I opened a business. But because I had a great relationship with Tyler, and we were doing it together, I knew we were going to be okay. And when it comes to even like clients and wealth building, and especially money, a lot of people can become funny when it comes to money. And if you don't have that relationship with them, people aren't going to trust you with their finances.
Exactly. Because that's their life savings.
It's their life. And people have been screwed over. I mean, we've all heard of people getting scammed and whatever. So I'm really big on mission over commission. And I really do believe that money's going to come in tenfold if you just make sure that you maintain the relationship and you lead with honesty.
Exactly. Because like the Bible says, and like in my episode with Andrew Gaines, it's the more you give, and the more you give, and the more you focus on the mission rather than the commission, the more it'll come back to you, and the more you'll reap the rewards of the harvest. The more seeds you sow, the more you'll harvest.
The more you bless others, the more blessings you'll get. And then God can trust you with more. Because if God can trust you with a little, he can trust you with a lot.
Exactly. Building more on those relationships, how do you feel about the mentorship side of this industry and where we're at?
So I wouldn't say the mentorship side of the industry, because not everyone in this industry has this mentorship. But specifically here at our organization, this mentorship platform is something I've never seen before. And what I like about it is that our mentors are incentivized to help us grow. Right?
Exactly.
So if a lot of people, they will pay for mentorship, and you can go and spend like ridiculous amounts of money to get mentored by big names, right? Tony Robbins or Dave Ramsey or whoever it might be, right? You can spend $30,000-$50,000 to get mentorship
to get a seat at the table.
To get a seat at the table. But once you've paid that, they have no
obligation.
They have no incentive to pour into you. They've already got their money.
Yep.
What I like about the incentive structure here is that the more money I make and the more successful I am, the more money my mentors will get as well. So they are incentivized to continue pouring into me, to continue helping me make more money, and to continue building that relationship. And it's vice versa. I want to make more money so that I can put my mentors in a better position. So it's if you look at the logo, it's a hand up, the hand pulling the hand up and a hand down. There's a hand being pulled up a hand coming down to help someone pull up, but it's also the hand pushing the person up. So,
A mutual benefit.
exactly.
Because like it's crazy. Like Andrew Gaines isn't even like in our side of it. He's a completely different side, and yet all I had to do was ask. Multimillionaire, massive guy within the company, and all I had to do was ask, and he came on the podcast with me. A brand new beginner.
Yeah.
Like how many other places in the world can you go where one of the highest people in the company will be like, yeah, sure, I'll hop on a podcast with you. How many views is it going to get? Like 20, 30?
Yeah. Yeah. Andrew's great, man. Andrew, I have a lot of respect for him and his organization and what he's built. I love how he always comes with the best energy.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes we don't see what's happening behind closed doors, but you could never tell. So a lot of respect for Andrew Gaines.
Going more onto that legacy building side of it, what do you want people to say about you whenever you hit MD or whenever you hit that, whenever you get to their level? What do you want the people below you to say about you?
I want them to think whenever, specifically for MD, I want them to say that was easy. I don't want it to be like a big accomplishment or anything big because it's not. So I want to do it and everyone say, oh, that was simple, because it's supposed to be simple. Even when I get to Matt's level, I don't want everyone to go, wow, he's so talented, or man, he did this and he did that, and oh, I could never do that. No, it's like, you can do this too. It's really easy. So I don't want it to seem like it was a big deal, because it's not a big deal.
And why do you feel that way? Why do you want people to like believe that? Why do you want that to be your like quote unquote legacy?
Because if I could do it, you could do it. And it's not just about me, it's about everybody else.
Because that's one of the things that's great about here, is that no one is more like quote unquote special than anyone else. Everyone starts at the same level. Everyone has the exact same chances for success.
Mm-hmm.
It's just some of it's mentorship, but some of it's just hard work.
Absolutely.
I would say probably 90% hard work, 10% mentorship.
Yeah, this business is no talent. It's all work.
Oh yeah.
Like someone could come in.
All work and relationships.
Yeah. Even somebody with no relationships could come in and build those relationships if they really want to. I've seen people come in with, you would never expect them to do well, and they go and make a killing, all because they just worked hard.
Yep. And that's the crazy thing about this industry compared to almost every other industry in the world. If you just work hard, you'll be successful.
But that's America. Like that's what this entire country was built on, because nowhere else in the world do you have the freedom to go and start your own business. You know how hard it is to start a business in like Canada, and
Exactly.
they immediately take 50% of all your profits, or China, where they own 50% or like 51% of everything you do,
Or even Dubai, where you can only own a business if you're born in Dubai, if you're a Dubai citizen, and you can't become a Dubai citizen. You have to be born there.
Yeah, like there's so many examples. Like only in America can a immigrant come here and build one of the most successful companies, be one of the most influential people, and change the most amount of lives. Just an immigrant.
I know.
From Iran. I'm speaking about Patrick, but yeah.
If everything, like if all your content, if everything vanished off the face of the earth, what's one principle you would absolutely want your audience to remember and know?
That I want to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing. I want to make a lot of money. I want to make impact. I want to help people, but I don't want to do it the wrong way. But I also want to be known as a dog.
Yeah.
I don't want everyone to, yeah.
So what do you mean? Tell me more about that. You want to be seen as a dog?
Yeah, I don't want to be known as soft. I want to be remembered like Kobe Bryant.
Amen.
So that's somebody who I want to.
Someone who goes after it no matter what.
Because, like, I mean, so many people have a goal or dream, and they do it. Or I don't want to say they do it, they sell themselves short on it.
They achieve what they wanted to, and then they stop.
Yeah. Like hundreds of guys get into the NBA every year.
Yep.
But there's only one Kobe. There's hundreds of thousands of engineers, right? At one point, I thought being an engineer was gonna put me in the top 10%, and I was gonna be Mr. Big Shot. And then you realize you get your engineer and your degree, and you get a job, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I got to get an MBA. And then you start getting to the top of the pyramid. Ironically, you keep getting closer and closer, and you're like, oh no, there's a separator. I don't want to be just like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be
Exactly.
I want to be like Kobe. And Kobe was like nobody else. He was crazy.
Exactly.
I want to be crazy in a good way.
You don't want to, nah, I would rephrase it. You don't want to be the next Kobe. You want to be the future Ara.
The future Ara, exactly.
If you were the main character in the movie of your life and you were watching from the audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you be screaming at yourself to do? Because, you know, in horror movies where it's like, turn around, don't open that, run away, you know, what's the one thing you would be screaming at yourself to do ASAP to change your life for the better?
These are great questions, bro. I think I would say two things. One would be go harder, because I still believe that. But I would also say pray more, because I feel like I need to spend more time, being thankful for what I have, which I do. But I think there should be more of that.
A lot of people don't realize how blessed we do have it. Because, you know, to be able to do this, you're a Kurdish American, I'm Irish American, full American. And the ability that we can just come here into this melting pot and do this podcast, no consequences, no nothing, that we made, that all of our ancestors made it here. Like, dude, it's there, and there's still people living in third world countries who get up and they have to go walk miles to go get water.
Bro, we can't even sit here with the microphone in our mouth in like most of the countries across the world.
Exactly.
Like this podcast would not happen anywhere else. So it's
This really is like one of the best and most blessed places to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think I would want to be more thankful, show more gratitude.
It's tough to think about when you're doing good. When you're successful, it's tough to think about, oh man, I should be grateful for what I have when you have it. It's a lot easier to be grateful and to ask God and to pray to God when you don't have what you want.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to do that when you have everything you want.
Yeah. But what I think is crazy, I think there was an article about this a couple of years ago, and it was like, if you pray for something, I know for a fact, every time I've ever prayed for anything, it's came true. Like, it's crazy. Every prayer I've ever prayed has came true.
God answers prayers, in my opinion, in 3 ways. Yes, no, or not right now.
Right. And the no, it's not a no as in like a consequence. It's just like, that's not meant for you. I have way bigger things in store for you. But there was an article that was like 80% of prayers, they did a poll, and it was like 80% of people said their prayers come true. And it might have been even more than that. But yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that. This whole company was built on prayers.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that I'm here is a prayer.
Exactly. The fact that your parents made it all the way from Kurdistan to Texas.
Yep.
That's insane.
Pretty crazy.
Here's where I get a little selfish, you know. I'm brand new, just licensed, all that stuff. If you were starting out today without the team, if you were starting brand new from the ground today, what's the first thing you would do?
I would go out and shake hands and just meet new people and let people know who I am. Because I want to be known as the finance guy.
Yeah.
When I first started, nobody knew me as that. Everyone knew me as R, the engineer, R, the guy who, like to go out and have fun. But you don't want to be known as that anymore. I want to be known as who I'm becoming, not who I am.
That's a good one. That's really good. What mindset shift would have helped you get to that point earlier on?
Stop caring what people think. Stop, especially a lot of old people, or still put you in that old box of who you used to be. Because if you can change, that means they can change, and they don't want to change. Yeah.
That's good.
So a lot of people will project themselves onto you, because if you're changing, then, because I mean, like we just talked about, right? Being in this business, you have to be open-minded to a new business model. And a lot of people don't want to be open-minded to that business model, because it means if I can do it, then they can do it. And if they could do it and they didn't do it, then they're going to live with that regret.
Exactly. Because it's really not a hard business model to be super successful with.
Not at all.
Patrick Bet-David really did. He was like stroke of genius with this company. It's so easy to become successful compared to like almost any other company, not just companies like this, but like just any company. Like when you think about, the C-suite executives, that is an impossible dream for the average worker.
Right.
Like legitimately impossible. That's like 1% of the 1%. But here, a couple years of hard work and you can be at Matt's level.
Oh, easy.
It's like a proven fact.
Easy.
What would you say to someone going through the analysis paralysis when they're early on?
Oh, that's good. I went through that phase. I went through that phase of analysis, paralysis by
Like
analysis.
the how do I talk to people? The what do I do? How do I, like the hows? You know what I mean?
Well, so I guess there's two sides of it, right? There's the analysis by paralysis in terms of products and services, knowing IULs, how to structure policies,
Exactly.
all that stuff. That's my analysis by paralysis. That was my version. In terms of talking to people, you just got to go do it. Like I never had an issue with just going out and talking to strangers or networking or prospecting because I wanted to be known as the money guy.
Mm-hmm.
And because like I mean Matt's marketing is so genius.
I know.
Like money
Insane.
smart guy, like that's just such a genius
Name.
because it's simple, it's easy, it's so I wanted to be a version of that. I still haven't figured out what the name is for it, right? But I would go out and just be nice to people, introduce yourself, build relationships. You don't have to sell anyone anything or do anything because you're gonna run into them again.
Exactly.
I promise we're gonna run into each other again.
Oh yeah.
So like as long as you know who I am and what I do and we continuously see each other.
And it's on the top of your mind whenever you're thinking about it.
Exactly. Because I know we have the number one product in the entire world. What we have, the information and the products and services we provide, no matter which room you walk into, you're automatically the most valuable person in that room. Whether it's products and services sides or relationship side. Because maybe I can't serve you, but I have a Rolodex of phenomenal brokers and leaders and titans in this industry that I can introduce you to that would change your life. I 100% believe that if Matt Sapala likes you, your life will be changed forever.
I fully agree with that.
100%. So if I introduce you to him and he likes you, your life will be changed forever, no matter who you are. So that's my take on it. I would say if it's analysis by paralysis on speaking to people, just go do it because once you do that first one, you'll realize it's not as bad. Even me, every now and again, right? You'll go talk to people and you'll put your foot in your mouth for the first conversation. You're like, that was horrible. And you just go to the next person.
So what daily or weekly habit would you recommend to build momentum without hitting burnout or without burning out from going too hard?
I don't believe in burnout. I don't believe in burnout. If anyone says they're burned out, they don't enjoy what they do. Because
that's good.
I think a lot of people will create limiting beliefs for whatever thing they don't want to do. So, like, someone like Patrick Bet-David or Matt Sapala or Curtis Eatman, they have way more busy schedules and calendars than us. And I know they have way more than I could even fathom. And they don't burn out. So why would I even I choose not to make that a limiting belief in myself. The habit that I believe everyone should have is going to the gym, working out, eating healthy. That's as simple as it is. It doesn't mean you have to hire a trainer or not eat like processed food. Whatever it is for you, you know your body. You need to make sure that your body's a temple. You want to make sure that you're keeping this momentum, this endurance going. And the way to do that is by taking care of your body, working out, and eating healthy.
Man, this was solid. Thank you for not holding back at all and digging super deep. Before we go ahead and end it, where can people reach you so that they can give you a follow too and hear more from you?
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, my Instagram is RAMEN. I also run a podcast called Dollar and a Dream. On Instagram, it's at Dollar and Dream, so DND, so Dollar and Dream podcast. Best way to find me is Instagram.
Thanks again for being here. That was an awesome experience, and I'd love to have you on again sometime in the future.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited for us to continue doing more podcasts together. I'm excited for your podcast to grow. And I think more people in the office need to do this because the more people that do this, the more content's being created and the more we can share each other's stuff and grow together. So I'm really excited that you're doing this. So best of luck, man. It's going to be fun.
Oh, I'm excited.